Hello everyone, Lady King here, and I'm going to go through the story of Entropy. There's, 69 videos, so I'm going to have to talk quick. And this is just going to be made because there's, 34 and a half hours of videos, so this is being created. Okay, so the statues you're seeing is from a mod. I still don't know what the name of it is. So I will leave a link in the description. So check it out if you want. So I should probably get started. Okay, this starts out as Lightning King. He starts out, he doesn't want to kill anything, but he has to kill the Ender Dragon to free the Enderman. In this one, he is confused by a mushroom growing into a dark oak tree, and a creeper comes up behind him and brings him down to 2 hearts. And so in order to regenerate his health, he creates a mushroom stew. He also sets up a little base with a bed and a barrel. Where's the wolf? He hears the dog, he can't find it. He also finds a zombie spawner, which he proceeds to light up. And also starts up on a house. Corrupted Enderman. He wanders around for a bit, and he finds this strange-looking Enderman, and it attacks him. And he builds a little hut thing to protect himself, but a creeper comes over, so he has to run into the water. Now, he makes a map, a clock, and a compass, so he knows where he is, and can track where he goes, as long as he's in the overworld. He comes up with a name for the disease. He calls it Entropy, which stands for Evil Noticeably Takes Rule Over Preferably the Youth. He also finds out that Regeneration Stew, who sets back the disease. Now, in this one, he goes in another and kills a hostile mob for the first time. Then, when he's in the nether, he drinks a fire resistance pot, jumps into lava, and wanders around a bit and gets bored. He finds his way into a nether fortress, being more used to killing hostile mobs now. But unfortunately, both his pickaxe and his sword break, so he has to defend himself with only a boat and a shield. And at one point, loses the boat, so he does a one-on-one with a wither skeleton. And wins. Now, he finishes up his house, and plans on how to remove the disease. He starts work on building the machine, and kills a passive mob for the first time. And also finds a village. He continues work on it with copper and adding lava to it. And to the thing that he now calls the splitter. But unfortunately, the disease spreads more on him since he took a break building the house. Next, he goes back to the nether and is more used to killing passive mobs now, and kills some blazes while he's there, along with makes an enchantment table, little setup. He then continues through the fortress, finding more and more loot, and then heads back out. He goes through the mine and finds lots of copper, along with a creeper. He creates an ender chest so he can store his compass, his clock, and his map there so he can know where he is at all times without it being in his inventory. He also shoots an Eye of Ender to know where he's going. He finds a stronghold and finds a end portal with a single Eye of Ender in it. And also builds another portal back home. He works more on the splitter, adding some trapdoors as tubes, and adding a bit more copper, and then goes mining for copper. He then, Lightning then does some more lava work on the splitter, and mines a bit. As he's working on the splitter, creepers keep blowing him up. He also does a bit of work on the redstone side. He thinks he's almost done with the cleave redstone. Little does he know, it's only begun. He goes back to the Nether after continuing work on the splitter, adding a mechanism to make lava fall down on the main portion. As he's in the Nether, he kills some wither skeletons and gets a hold of a gas tier. He encounters 4 wither skeletons and finds a wither skull. He goes more through the fortress and finds 3 more wither skulls, and then gets lost for a bit before finding his way home. He fights the wither, wins, and gets a beacon. He then builds a pyramid to calculate how much of the beacon pyramid materials he's going to need, and also goes to a village to get those materials, but forgets to bring a brewing stand to give one of the villagers a job. Let's get shopping. He gets some wood to get some emeralds, and then uses the emeralds to get ender pearls for the end. He does some calculations to figure out the exact amount of stacks he's going to need of emeralds while trading with the villagers. He gets it. Then, at this point, he has 5 blocks of emeralds by trading with the Fletcher for the beacon base. He goes to try and find a rabbit, but is unable to find one. He finds a rabbit and finds his way over to a desert. He then realizes that E.N.T.R.O.P.Y, as it's called, has covered over half of his body, so now it is talking to him, and it seems to have its own personality. And E.N.T.R.O.P.Y ends up killing an iron golem. As Lightning is about to go to a village, he has netherwort from forgetting to make regen potions, and grabs some sugarcane on the way. He then, while still arguing with Parasite, kills a spider and a creeper. E.N.T.R.O.P.Y then takes control and turns a villager into a zombie. Fortunately, since he had all of the ingredients already, he was able to make a weakness potion to cure it. E.N.T.R.O.P.Y now has full control over the body, except he needs Lightning back in order to get the beacon from the Ender chest, because Lightning left the beacon in the Ender chest. E.N.T.R.O.P.Y also goes to the end to kill the Ender Dragon. E.N.T.R.O.P.Y reveals that his name isn't Evil Noticeably Takes rule over Preferably Youth. That E.N.T.R.O.P.Y is actually Evil Noticeably Taking rule over Preferably You. E.N.T.R.O.P.Y then goes on to fight the Ender Dragon again to get Dragon's Breath for the regen potions, and comes across some strangeness. He goes through a portal without touching it. Has a potion go through a portal and back at him, and explodes a bed with very little between him and the bed. Entropy then goes through into the portal and goes into an end city and gets a full set of enchanted diamond armor. And also finds some shulker boxes. Or shulkers, and gets some shulker boxes. He then leaves the end and goes to the Nether, where he accidentally hits a zombified piglin and gets attacked for a while. Entropy then decides to keep zombifying the villager for better trades. Very little does it work, however. He keeps doing it. He keeps getting better trades, but it doesn't work as well as he hoped. He then continues trading, managing to get more and more emerald blocks. He gets tired of trading with the villagers because he has to be peaceful with another mob. So, he decides to get a map from a cartographer to go kill Vindicators and Evokers. As he's going, he comes across a jungle temple and a treasure chest and a shipwreck and gets some stuff from it and ends up in an acacia biome. He then tames a horse, tames 3 horses, and rides them as he goes. And then he gets to the mansion, but accidentally sets the entire thing on fire because he wanted to see what was in a chicken, a cat, and a pillager plush. He then keeps going and decides to use the Nether to get back home. As he's going, Entropy realizes that piglin brutes are secretly just dogs, and thus names them doglin brutes. He then gets more and more gold, because he decides to use it for the beacon base instead of emeralds. But then, he stops talking for a while, just continuing to get gold and raid bastions, even using his bow more at one point, but still not able to hear. He then gets home and continues more work on the splitter, now called the cleaver, and works on the power source a little bit, and then continues work on the redstone. Being able to speak now, because there's basalt dust in his throat, he continues work on the redstone. He then goes back to the Nether and finds new loot in a bastion that he already raided, and even finds a strange case where 2 bastions seem to be connected. He then mines some more gold and gets very close to it. And then he's wanting it away, and eventually he has all of the gold he needs. He then leaves a parting gift for the villagers by setting the entire village on fire. Then he does a bit more redstone on the cleaver, and does a bit more mining for redstone and copper. He keeps mining and eventually gets back and it finishes up the redstone and uses the copper for the power and for the heat. But then he also realizes that the lava isn't actually touching the copper and that there's cobblestone between it, so he has to put the entire thing down in order for it to touch. Then reality seemed to split. In the main reality, he uses end rods and copper to get power from the dragon egg, and builds supports up. He then runs out of copper again while working on the power and gets more. He then finishes it up and is split. But who knows what will happen to Lightning King and Entropy. Now, on the other side of the universe, it seems that Entropy's parasite seems to have completely lost control, giving Lightning King control. Lightning still has Entropy's voice, but not his looks. And instead of the power source being in the back, it's now in the front. He then continues work on it, putting barrels beneath the copper for more support. And then runs out of copper once again. While getting copper, he gets lost, forgetting where his base is. He then leaves a present for Lightning, killing all of the grass around the cleaver. And then he is split. But no one will ever know what happened in this reality. We can only see what will happen in the main one. So, the question is, what will happen next?